Grounding and bonding, grounding and bonding. Aren't we tired of grounding and bonding? How many times do we have to talk and learn about grounding and bonding? 34-hour continuing education I have to do in New Jersey, and there's very limited choices, right, for these classes. And it's always pools and spas, transformers, grounding and bonding, right? How many times? Okay. You guys know what this is? You probably don't. You're going to say you do, but you probably don't. This is let me flip the camera around so you can read it properly. This is like it says, a ground loop tester. This is by LEM, L-E-M. This is an HEMEGO 30. This device right here is about $4,000, okay? This was the only device that you could use to measure the resistance of a ground rod. Let's turn it on. But electricians weren't spending $4,000 on this. So it used to be where the code would say, if your ground rod is 75 ohms or higher, you need to add a second ground rod 6 feet apart, right? Well, no one was buying this. No one was testing this. So the code just says, you know what? Let's just put 2 ground rods everywhere and we'll be done with it, regardless of what the resistance is. And guys, you will be shocked. Only till you have one of these and you play around with this, you'll be shocked, no pun intended. If you took a 15 amp circuit breaker and you connected it directly to your ground rod, okay, do you think that breaker would trip? You'll be very, very surprised that often it doesn't. There's that much resistance to a ground rod, where you could literally put a 15 amp live 120 volt circuit directly to your ground rod. And all you'll be doing is creating heat and wasting energy because it's not enough low resistance to trip that breaker, okay? And that's the whole purpose of devices like this. Now, that being said, can you use this to certify a pool, especially a commercial pool? No, you cannot. Okay, I've done that. I've made that mistake. I used to go up and clip around all the number 8 wires. I'd go up to the pool pump and I'd go around the terminal on the number 8 solid, right? And I'd get the reading, and it was very accurate, the reading. But when I had to certify it, commercial pools, no names, because I just did a major pool from someone everybody out there knows about, and I'm not going to say names, and the inspector did not accept my reading because I was honest and forthright, and I told him I used this. So what did he say to do? He told me to get a number 12 wire, attach it to the bridge, the outside building's ground bridge, okay, and unspool it all the way out to the pool. So I had to have this 500-foot rule of number 12 wire all the way on the ground, all around this commercial pool with my standard Fluke 87. And I wire nutted the 87 one side to that number 12 wire, because you don't want to have your body come in between when you're measuring resistance, right? And that's a lot of you new guys do that. You put 2 hands on each lead. So I wire nutted one lead onto one of my meter, and the other one I would go up and I would test the device, and it was so accurate to this. It was off by fractions of ohms, if any. So this is very accurate. In fact, there's a calibration tool that comes with this that says 5 amps, 10 amps, 20 amps, or ohms. 5 ohms, 10 ohms, 20 ohms. I don't have it with me right now, but basically when you turn this on and it calibrates, the first thing you do is put it into that test piece and you confirm that it is accurate. However, don't use this for pools and spas. This is specifically for ground rods, equipment grounding conductors, but not for life safety, okay? Can it work? It does work, but again, it's just like the non-contact voltage tester. That's just another supplemental way of testing. Is that the be-all, end-all? Of course it's not. I know you guys are calling it Widowmakers and, the Klein versus the Fluke. It's not the point. The point is another level. It's like a 2-factor certification, right? Another level of safety is those non-contacts, right? It's not taking place of a multimeter. Okay, let's go test this out on my ground here at the shop. Okay, I'm here where my incoming power comes into my shop. This is my ground wire. I built this a while ago, so the ground wire is actually embedded in concrete below us. So here's my ground wire. I just pulled the staple off to give me some room to bite in. So what I'm going to do is to test it, I'm going to turn it on. I can hear it beeping. It's going to calibrate. Once it gets to overload, now I'm ready. So what I'll do now is just clip it around my meter. Now, you don't even have to put test on this. So I have, as you can see, 22 ohms to ground. It's actually not too bad. That's a pretty good ground. Oh, who's that? Who's that handsome young guy? Boy, we all get older, right? Okay. Now for the part of the video that's going to offend you. You want to compete with me? You need some deep pockets and show up with tools like this. This is what separates you from me in success. It's tools like this. Now, I know a lot of you have it, but a lot of you don't. I'm not saying you need to go out and buy this. But when you show up with tools and you can explain to your customer, you're a little bit special, okay? You're a little bit above and beyond the average guy. You don't think they're going to pay a higher rate when you show up with tools like this? Now, I will say that if you do cell towers and you have to do the 3-point ground method on a cell tower, that's a different video. You guys, if you know, you know. This can certify a cell tower. But when it comes to life safety, such as pools and spas, this does not. But you can still do that 3-point attachment. If you're doing cell towers, I recommend you get one of these. See you on the next one, guys.